Super Rugby Power Rankings, folks, after round 4. Can you believe I'm wearing a Crusaders jersey after they beat my Blues? Goodness me. Unbelievable. But anyway, we're going to rank the 15 teams? No, 12 teams. The 12 teams in Super Rugby. We haven't had 15 teams in Super Rugby for a while. Based on the recent form. It's not too different from the table. But as we get through the season, we may see a bit of divergence. But you guys let us know your thoughts on how you reckon the teams are going for form. Sadly for Moana Pasifika, they are still bottom, and they are now the only team who've not had a win. They are none from 4. The game against the Brumbies was kind of a stupid scoreline, man. 62-36. What kind of scoreline is that? I mean, going away to the Brumbies and getting 36 points pretty good, but when you concede 60 odd, it ain't great. Early intercept gave them a lead. They were leading like 14-3 at one point. They were leading again after 50 odd minutes, but the end of the game, the Brumbies just ran away with it. So, sadly for Moana Pasifika, none from 4 is not a great look. The Rebels, I do feel like the Rebels have been done a little bit dirty here. I think the Rebels are better than that spot. I'm not sure who should be there, but it feels like the Rebels are better than that. But, I mean, they got beaten by the Chiefs really comfortably away from home, 44-25. But, I mean, they were in it. Just the Chiefs have got a lot of good players, and then the Chiefs would score 2 to the Rebels 1. And that's pretty much how the scoreline ends. So I do feel like the Rebels, to my surprise, are playing some decent rugby. But still their record is 1 from 4, so they are down 1 spot. The Waratahs are maybe a little bit disappointing with their 1 from 4 record. They lost to the Hurricanes 34-17. If you'd ask me who's going to get closer, the Chiefs Rebels game or the Waratahs Hurricanes game, I don't know if I would have chosen the Waratahs. Maybe, I don't know, man. I mean, Nandolo got a nice try where the big man scoops down, picks up the ball one-handed from a bit of an error. Jorgensen got a nice one. It was close, like 17-12 at halftime, but they didn't score much in the way of points in the second half. The Waratahs only the 5 points, so down a spot. A little bit disappointing. I mean, you were never going to get an easy game going away to Wellington, but still, 1 from 3 for the Tars. And then our first Kiwi team, the Highlanders, come in at 9th. They picked up a win. Happy days. They won 43-35 over the Force. Down in Invercargill, good to see a game down there. A few kids' games, a few kids' days. For like some afternoon games and whatnot. So the Highlanders down in Invercargill with a bit of an injury crisis still managed to get a win. A bit of a tit-for-tat game, to be honest, but the goal kicking was certainly better. And Lowe scored a couple of tries, so what can I say? Wasn't the prettiest, but it's a result, and they really needed a result after copping a few hidings in the first few rounds. So up 2 spots are the Landers. There we go. Down 2 spots of the Force. They stay ahead of the Landers just barely. I mean, the Force have got 2 wins, which is more than every team I've ranked below them. So that's a start. But, I mean, their goal kicking in this game was not great. They had the Hoops jersey on, which was something a bit different. I think that's a Western Australia thing. So, 15-13 at half-time. Take the lead with a nice maul try second half, but another one where over the course of the game they couldn't quite hang in there. They did almost come away with a losing bonus point if they'd got that last conversion right. Coonsall missed a bit of a sitter. So, disappointing. But I still feel like the Force are a side that's going to take time to really get up to 100%. I don't think they're there yet for sure. The Drua have also got down a couple of spots after their famous win over the Crusaders. They lost to the Reds, but man, did they give a comeback a good go. They were down 24-3 and it finishes 27-24, so they only just lost it. It ends up being very try. The Mussy try was a great one, but the Fords got on the board as well, so optimistic for how the Drua could go this season. Certainly better than last year. They are really, really picking up some speed. So look out the rest of Super Rugby, I guess. The Reds, maybe a little bit overrated. The Reds haven't been convincing, but they're 6th. Also with a 2-2 record, up 2 spots. Josh Fluke gets a couple of tries. I got to say, there was a good Fijian contingent at that Reds and Drua game. None of these crowds, I think, were the flashiest. There wasn't like a heap of attendance, like nothing like Fiji the week before. The best attendance was probably at the next game I'm going to mention, but yeah, the Reds, they'll be a little bit disconcerted with how they almost threw away what seemed like an insurmountable lead. Insurmountable. So there you go. Reds up 2 spots. And my Blues, well, 24,000 people there to see the Blues take on the Crusaders. So that's a good crowd. The atmosphere seemed really good. And maybe I'm just being biased, but I thought that was the best game of the weekend in terms of the on-field product. It was pretty amazing. I was pretty gutted that the Blues lost. I thought we were robbed by the ref. Although, I mean, honestly, you can't blame the ref when you blow tries like the Blues blew. I felt like the Crusaders, they conceded double the penalties of the Blues, and maybe a little bit cynical, but still, the Blues blew some chances, so I can't really complain. I'm a bit tongue-in-cheek. I got the Crusaders jersey on as a peace offering, as I moan about the ref. I don't usually moan about the ref, but I thought we were robbed. A little bit. Do I think we were robbed more? I think we blew it more. Nah, you got to own it. You got to take ownership of it. You can't just blame the ref. The Blues buggered it up. They blew 2 kind of certain tries by just dropping the ball over the line. So the onus goes on the ref. Even my dad, who's a diehard Blues fan, he sent me some messages after the game, and I was like, oh, he's going to be moaning about the ref, and he was just like, Crusaders are a good side, son, and we had our chances. So yeah, fair enough. There you go. Crusaders, you guys up 2 spots after your loss. 3 spots, sorry, up 3 spots. 34-28 winners away at Eden Park. Leicester Whanganuku, man, 3 tries. I mean, both sides missed some tackles in that one, to be fair, but such was the attacking rugby on display. So really, really great. The atmosphere was great. You expected the Crusaders to bounce back after losing last week, and it's just unfortunate for my Blues that we were kind of in their way, as you knew they were going to bounce back. So Crusaders, there you go, in 4th. Hurricanes in 3rd. Hurricanes have got a 3-1 record. They're the only team with that record. They win over the Tars. Cab Roygaard looks to business, doesn't he? Halfback, scores a couple of tries, and Kenny Naholo also, as I mentioned earlier, it was tight at halftime, but the Hurricanes over the course of the game, just too good. So yeah, it'd be nice to get a few more people there. I guess with the Trans-Tasman games, it makes sense that the attendances will be lower. Like the Blues and Crusaders was the only New Zealand on New Zealand game. Those are traditional rivals, and they had a good turnout. So I guess that kind of makes a bit of sense. But yeah, those yellow seats are really conspicuous when they are not filled. The Brumbies in 2nd spot. Brumbies are undefeated. They conceded some points, like I mentioned, but boy, did they score a bundle. The Maul got going, didn't it? The Maul's pretty good, and Andy Muirhead got some tries for the backs as well. So yeah, real mixed display in terms of being able to score from front and back. Mixed in terms of conceding a bunch, but also scoring a bunch. So I'm not sure they'll be entirely happy with it, but you cannot argue. Well, what was it, like 9 tries to 5 or 4 or something? So yeah, crazy stuff. But still, top side is the Chiefs. The other undefeated side, Rebels, 44-25. It's a decent win. Their back 3 is just awesome. Narawa, Nana Saturo, and Sean Stevenson were on absolute fire. It's not just about the backs. The forwards were in there as well, but I mean, goodness me, they did some pretty crazy stuff. Like that game, statistically, was actually a relatively kind of even breakdown in terms of clean breaks and whatnot, but the finishing power of the Chiefs is seemingly second to none thus far this season. But there you go, folks. Power rankings for round 4. So we're still pretty early on into the Super Rugby season, but the on-field stuff, the on-field display of some rugby has been phenomenal. So really, really happy with it, and I look forward to seeing how the competition pans out. You guys let us know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.